Cornelius and I just returned from a trip after our Southern Africa conference, which was so much fun to be at. That was just such a great spiritual experience. We got to go up to East Africa for their East African conference, which was really fun. And Byron, all your homeboys send their greetings. Where's Byron? Is he here? Okay. He's in Kids Zone. Okay, so anyway, all the East Africans send their greetings, but it was so much fun to be able to be down there, or up there in East Africa, and sort of worship together with all of them. When I lived in Kenya, I lived there a couple of years ago. We had one church in Nairobi in our family of churches, and we just planted a little church in Eldoret. And when I was there, we planted our Ethiopian Church of Christ, which was really fun to get that started. And so there was really about 200 disciples in East Africa as part of our family of churches. And we were there this weekend, and 4,000 people streamed in to celebrate this day. And it was so cool because they had like a flag ceremony. So all the disciples from Uganda came in with their little flag, and Burundi, and all those East African places. And then, of course, all the Ethiopians came in. It was just a wonderful celebration to be with them. So Cornelius had never been to East Africa, so we got to go together and show him a little bit around Nairobi, which is really fun to do. But all of them send greetings. They say, Jambo. Okay, which is hello, or habari, which is how are you. Okay, so anyway, okay, Mother's Day. It is Mother's Day today, and of course we love our mothers. Okay, we love our mothers a lot, and of course moms are amazing. And so today our sermon is really going to focus in on honoring moms and why we love our moms so much. Now, if for whatever reason you're a little behind and you've forgotten to buy your mom a present, okay? I found some very unique presents on the web, and these are some options in case you need something in a hurry. The first of which is a bad hair day hat, okay? Made by, we're out of a shark. So if your mom ever wakes up and her hair is there, you give her this little hat, and that's her hat. The other one, of course, is slippers that are also a mop, so that as your mom, goes about the house, as she's walking about, she's cleaning the floor at the same time. It's, one of those dual service things, okay? And then finally, this was by James. He changed the toilet roll and said, "This is my gift for you, Mom," okay? I actually took the empty toilet roll off and put a brand new one back. Happy Mother's Day. So even little things make a difference on Mother's Day. But what our kids did, our kids from the church said they wanted to put a little video together. So we have a video from the kids. It's very short, but they just wanted to say Happy Mother's Day.
She plasters my wounds. She shaves my hair. My mother is beyond compare. We love you, mothers, everywhere.
I love you, Mom.
I love my mother. I love you, Mom. And I love my mom. Happy Mother's Day.
We love you, mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
And they have some more. They're going to share some more of those kids during the sermon today because, we love moms so much, and there are certain qualities that moms have that just win our hearts. And so we have 4 qualities that we're going to talk about today. Of course, there are hundreds we could share, but they're just 4 that we're going to share about why we love our moms so much. And those kids they'll come back and share some other things during the sermon. But firstly, one of the reasons we love our moms so much is because moms are caring. They care about us incredibly. And we're going to look in Exodus chapter 2 and read about some very caring moms in the Bible. Exodus chapter 2, verse 1. Now a man of the house of Levi married a Levite woman, and she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. But when she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then she placed the child in it and put it amongst the reeds along the bank of the Nile. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. Then Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe, and her attendants were walking along the riverbank. She saw the basket amongst the reeds and sent her slave girl to get it. She opened it and saw the baby. He was crying, and she felt sorry for him. "This is one of the Hebrew babies," she said. Then his sister asked Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get one of those Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you?" "Yes, go," she answered, and the girl went and got the baby's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this baby and nurse him for me, and I will pay you." So the woman took the baby and nursed him. When the child grew older, she took him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water." You know, of course, this is one of the most famous Bible stories known. And, of course, this is about Moses. And what happens is that the Israelites have ended up in Egypt. They moved there. And now what's happened is when Joseph was in charge, you know, there was a famine and they moved to get food. They settled in Egypt. Now Pharaoh has come up and the Israelites have multiplied. They've gotten bigger and bigger. And so Pharaoh starts getting insecure. He worries that these Israelites are going to eventually rebel against him and overthrow him. So he comes up with a despicable plan. He says, all right, in order to curb the population growth of these little Israelite families, what we're going to do is take every baby boy that is born and we're going to drown him in the Nile River. I mean, it is dreadful. It is the worst idea ever. But him being Pharaoh, which was almost seen as a god in Egypt, everyone towed the line. And so what happens is Moses' parents, they have a baby boy. And of course, she refuses to tell the officials that have had a baby boy, and she hides him for 3 months, which is at great personal risk to herself. If she was caught hiding this child away from the officials, she could probably lose her life for doing that. But she hides and nurses the child for 3 months, and finally she realizes, look, somebody's gonna find out about this. And of course, I'm sure she prayed and she said, "Dear God, please do something to protect my little boy." She makes a little basket, puts it in the basket, puts it in the Nile, and it floats down. And of course, it just so happens that it gets stuck in the reeds near Pharaoh's daughter. She finds the baby, and of course, the Bible says she felt sorry for him. She looked at this little baby, and even though the law in the land is you got to kill all these Hebrew babies, she feels sorry for him, and she does not follow the instructions, again, putting herself at risk for defying Pharaoh. And so she finally, Miriam, of course, has followed the little baby along. Moses' sister has followed the baby along and says, hey, do you need one of the Hebrew women to nurse this baby? And she said, yes. She says, in fact, I'll pay you for it. And so, of course, she finds Moses' mom and says, hey, I got your baby back, and here's some money from Pharaoh's daughter to be able to pay you. And so, of course, she's thrilled. She gets her baby back. She nurses her baby. And finally, when Moses is older, she takes him back. And Pharaoh's daughter takes him as her own son and names him Moses, saying, I drew him out of the water. You know, in this story, of course, moms shine out. Just their courage to protect their child, their care, their love, their nurturing spirit, it just shines out. This is what we love about moms. They can't help themselves but take care of us, okay? And don't we love our moms for this quality? We love it. That when we've scraped our knee and we've fallen down, moms are there to come and help us and make us feel better. When our girlfriend or our boyfriend broke up with us, mom was there to be able to encourage us and let us know the world is not going to end because your first ever boyfriend broke up with you or your first ever girlfriend broke up with you. You know, moms are there when we've had a tough day. And it's just, it's been one of those emotional days and people are nasty to us and we're feeling terrible. And just a cuddle and a few words from mom can make us feel all better, isn't it? You know, my mom was amazing. I was 10 years old when I was sent away to boarding school. I still don't know why they sent me away to boarding school, okay, but I went to Cowan House, which was, my folks lived up here in Joburg, and my brother and I went to Cowan House, which is sort of in the Natal Midlands. And so we were there, and we'd come home only over the school holidays, so sort of 4 times a year during the school holidays. From age about 10 years old. But what would happen, sometimes my dad would be traveling, and he'd be traveling away, and we'd have a school play, and my mom would get in her car, and she would drive down to be at the school play, 5-6 hour drive to be there, and just watch, us in a school play. And oftentimes, we had like 3 words, that it was my part in the play, and you come out, and please do not, whatever. I mean, you got this tiny little role in this play, and then, you walk back in, and your mom's so excited. I mean, it's just the most ridiculous. And then, she would take us out for dinner, and the next day she'd drive back to Joburg. And I always remember thinking, wow. I mean, 10, 11 hours in the car to come and see just a minute or 2 in a school play. It was amazing. She'd come for sport. She'd come for rugby, cricket, all sorts of things. Our moms are they give so much to us. They're so caring. The kids had some things they wanted to share about why they felt like their moms were caring.
My mom is caring because whenever we go on roller coasters, she always protects me, makes sure I don't fall off.
I love my mom. She's so caring. She cares about other people, and when it's our birthday, she spoils us.
My mom is very caring, and she likes babies, and she loves me, but she also loves my sister because I have a baby sister. Well, she's sharing and caring, and she normally always does what's always best for me. My mother's caring. When she disciplines me, she wants me to be straight. When I'm doing wrong, she wants me to be on the right path. She wants me to be exact so that I do not do it wrong the next time.
All right. Even in discipline, right? Our moms are caring for us, okay? So we love moms for that. Not only are moms very caring, but moms are also great teachers. You can turn your Bibles to Proverbs chapter 1, and we'll be reading from there, from Proverbs 1. But before we get there, I looked up on the internet, what are some of the greatest things that moms have taught us? In other words, what are some of the things? And there was a little list here of 15 things that my mother taught me. Let me read it to you. My mother taught me to appreciate a job well done. She told me, if you're going to kill each other, do it outside. I just finished cleaning the house. My mother taught me about religion. You better pray that stain's going to come out the carpet. My mother taught me about time travel. If you don't straighten up, I'm going to knock you into the middle of next week. My mother taught me about logic. Because I say so, that's why. My mother taught me more about logic. If you fall out of that swing and break your neck, I am not taking you shopping with me. My mother taught me foresight. Make sure you wear clean underwear in case you're in an accident. My mother taught me irony. Keep crying and I'll give you something to cry about. My mother taught me the science of osmosis. Shut your mouth and eat your dinner. My mother taught me about contortionism. Will you look at that dirt on the back of your neck? My mother taught me about stamina. You're going to sit there until all that spinach is eaten off your plate. My mother taught me about envy. There are millions of less fortunate children in this world who don't have wonderful parents like you do. My mother taught me about anticipation. Just wait until we get home. My mother taught me about medical science. If you don't stop crossing your eyes, they're going to freeze that way. My mother taught me about ESP. Put your sweater on. Don't you think I know when you're cold? My mother taught me humor. When that lawnmower cuts off your toes, don't come running to me. You know, our moms teach us all sorts of things, and even the Bible has some things to say about listen to your mom. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8 says this: Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck. What our moms teach us are things to carry with us for the rest of our lives. They are chains to carry around our necks and a garland of grace over our heads. You know, our parents have been given some very important things to teach us about life. They have a God-given mandate to teach us the important things about life. You know, Proverbs 6, it'll come up on the screen now. Proverbs 6, verse 20, this is the Message translation, says this: Good friend, don't wander off from your mother's teachings. Wrap yourself in them from head to foot. Wear them like a scarf around your neck. Wherever you walk, they will guide you. Whenever you rest, they'll guard you. When you wake up, they'll tell you what's next. For sound advice is a beacon. Good teaching is a light. Moral discipline is a life path. You know, the words that the Bible uses to describe what it's like when you get good spiritual advice from your mom is a beacon. Like a light on the top of a hill that's a beacon for a plane, or those beacons that line up a plane when it's coming into land, and they're beacons that tell you you're on the right path or whatever. That's what advice from a mom is like: a beacon, a light, a life path. Like when you're walking through the jungle and you don't know which way to go, and there is a path that takes you through the jungle. That's like your mom's advice to you through life. Like a guide, like a guard. You know, in Malawi, almost every home has a guard. They all have little security guards to protect them. And the Bible's saying that like a guard that stands outside your house is your mom who's giving you words of advice. That's how valuable our mom's teaching are to us. They warn us about dangers, don't they? They keep us from the folly of youth. Dave Proctor always used to say about, you know, the teenage brain. I don't know if you remember him telling that illustration, right? That our brains don't fully develop, particularly the decision-making component of our brain. I think it's the oblongata. Is that right? Okay? That helps you to know the consequences of decisions until you're over 20. And so he would always tell his girls, he would say, all right, Beth and I are your oblongata, okay? We are going to help you until that part of your brain is fully developed. Our moms are there to help us, to warn us about the dangers of youth, to teach us manners, to teach us respect, to teach us to tidy our rooms, right? To teach us about God and about sound moral values in life, to help us to make good relationship decisions. You know, my mom, because I went to boarding school, she would always try and, you don't learn good eating habits at boarding school. And if you ever, I just, on a side note here, I highly recommend if you want to raise spiritual children, don't send them to boarding school, okay? You learn a lot of bad things in boarding school. But that's a side note, okay? So, my mom had to always correct all my eating habits that I learned at school. She would always, son, how can you, if one day, if you have a girlfriend, okay, and you eat like that, she will dump you. My mom always would also evaluate my girlfriend. So, you know, I'd bring a girlfriend home and, hey, mom, or what have you. And then she would sit down afterwards and say, you know, there's some things, you know, that you may want to know. I know a woman. And she would teach me about, girlfriends. One regret is that she never got to meet Irene. You know, my mom died of a heart attack, and before really Irene and I got to know each other, because I know she would have loved Irene. But, you know, moms are amazing. They teach us so many important things. And the Bible says, remember, put it as a garland around your neck. You know, bind it to yourself, the things that your mom teaches you. The kids are going to share a little bit about what their moms have taught them.
I think my mother is a great teacher because when I got something wrong and she helps me in the subjects I am in battling with my homework. She corrects me and helps me so I don't get it wrong the next time. Most of the time at night when we're about to go to bed, she teaches me more about the Bible and what it's about.
And I don't know Afrikaans. She helps me. She says I must be gently then. I must be comfortable then. And she takes me to Monte Cassino when it's my birthday. She taught me maths and I think it's life skills. And she also taught me how to spell words.
Okay, so moms are great teachers. Moms, thirdly, can be scary. Now, Exodus chapter 20, it's on the screen there, verse 12, says this. It says, honor your father and mother so that you will live a long life. Now, think about that for a moment and think about the implications of what that Bible verse is teaching us. So, what are the implications if you don't honor and don't respect your mother? Short life, okay? You're gonna die, all right? And you're gonna die young. And, you know, moms can be scary, okay? Moms can be terrifying at times. I don't know if you remember back at times when your mom, you know, was just flat terrifying. I remember one time my brother and I, what we did was my dad had gotten into scuba diving, and so he brought home all the scuba diving kit. And back then, you know, it wasn't very sophisticated. He literally got these oxygen tanks out of a World War II fighter plane, okay, that they would take on a Messerschmitt or a, you know, the British one, whatever that's called, Spitfire. There we go. And that's what you'd strap this thing to your back, and then you had like literally the mask, you know, from those little Spitfire pilots, and we'd go into our swimming pool, you know, with this thing on, hoping that it worked, okay? So I mean, this is pretty primitive stuff. But then he had these like little knives that you'd go and get clams, and you know, and then your little diving bag that you could put the clams into your diving bag or whatever. So my brother and I, one time, we were told you're never allowed to use this equipment in the pool if my mom and dad is not there. So my brother and I thought, well, mom and dad are not around, so we're going to go into the garage of our house, and we're going to pretend that we just found a shipwreck. And so, you know, the cars were the shipwreck. So we put on the, you know, the flippers, the mask, the oxygen tank, the little knife, the thing, and so we're swimming around, you know, in the carport, and then we think, well, we have to take some treasure back with us, you know. So we pull out the knife, and we see, well, look at all these nice little rubber things around the windows of our and so we started cutting the rubber off of, you know, my mom's car, you know, and again, it's like, I don't know, you know, when you're that age, you're just, that oblongate is not working, okay? And so we just cutting this off and putting it in the bag, and this is the best time we ever had, you know, and then my mom walked into the garage, and she was like, what are you doing? And then we realized that what we were doing was not a good thing, you know. Man, she was mad. Her face got red. She went out and got the wooden spoon. That was our discipline. She broke the wooden spoon on my brother and I. I mean, it was like, but I never forget it to this day, okay? Moms can be scary. I found on Pinterest, actually, a couple of things about moms can be scary. You know, I brought you into this world. I can take you out again. Or the definition of a momster, okay? A momster, what happens to mom after she counts to 3. And of course, mom's dinner choices. Choice number 1, take it. Choice number 2, leave it, okay? They don't give you a lot of options over dinner. But moms can also be cruel at times. I found this picture of a mom who chose a dummy. I mean, seriously. That poor kid does not know what's on that dummy and is going to show up at their 21st birthday pictures, okay? Or in church somewhere across the world. But, you know, moms can be scary. The kids are going to share a little bit about why their mom is scary.
When my mom's scary, it's like when sometimes when I come back, when I just finished eating dinner or like breakfast, she comes and then she says she's behind my door, but I don't know it, so then she scares me.
Sometimes my mom is scary. This one time my mom and my dad were hiding in the dark when me and my sister went to go and watch TV, and then they just popped out at us. I was so scared I even fell down.
She's mostly scary sometimes when I don't follow the path she wants me to follow, and sometimes at school when I'm not here, my mom gets told that I sometimes fight, and then that's when she usually is scary.
Amen. I don't know what Mom's trying to do with that one, okay? It's like, I'm a Chinese ninja warrior, man. I'm coming for you. All right, and finally, turn your Bibles to John chapter 2. Moms are fun. Moms are fun. John chapter 2. And I think what we're going to see from this passage here, that it's Jesus' mom. And, you know, moms are just the same the world over. John chapter 2, reading from verse 1. It says here, on the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Dear woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My time has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding about 75 to 115 liters. All right, we'll stop there. All right, now this is classic mom behavior. Think about this, all right? So Mary obviously, has been told when she was a teenager, you're going to have an older teen, you're going to have a baby, and that's going to be God's son in your womb. And of course, she was a virgin. She gave birth to Jesus. She knew this was the Son of God. I mean, there was a star announcing her birthplace. Kings and shepherds arrived to give gifts. I mean, she knew she had the Son of God in her womb. Jesus, of course, now has grown up. I don't know about you, but I can't wait one day in heaven to be able to watch the videos of what it was like to see Jesus growing up, right? The Blu-ray DVDs of Jesus age 7 and how that, I don't know, that to me, I think that's going to be so much fun to see. Anyway, so he's grown up now, okay? And they're at a banquet. They're at a wedding banquet, and what happens is they run out of wine at the wedding banquet. And so Mary turns to Jesus, and she turns to him and she says, "Son, they have no more wine." Now Jesus responds with, "Dear woman, why are you involving me? I mean, I have come on a very important mission here, and it's not catering. I'm not, it is really not my problem to solve their catering issues because they didn't prepare well enough for this banquet." And like a typical mom, like all mothers around the world, Mary does what moms do. She ignores Jesus, okay? And she just tells the servants, just do whatever he tells you to do. And I don't know, I sort of picture Jesus' facial expression. Mom, I mean, didn't you hear what I just said? It's not my responsibility. Just do what he tells you to do. So there, of course, are some water jars. He says, okay, there's some water jars. Go fill them up. They fill them up with water. He says, then scoop some of that out. Take it to the master of the banquet. Of course, he takes it. It's now become wine. The guy drinks it. He says, whoa, this is like the best wine ever. This is awesome. And they report it back. And I don't know, I just sort of picture Jesus looking at Mary. You happy now? And Mary, with a smug, smile on her face. I knew he could solve this. But moms are fun, aren't they? They have a way of manipulating us to do things that is just amazing how they get us to do stuff and get stuff done. They have the nicest way of making us do what we need to do. The kids have some things to share about their moms being fun.
Oh, my mom's fun. She takes me out on my birthdays. Last year we went to the cinemas. This year I don't know where we're going. But then we play games usually. She makes me, my brother, and my sister laugh. We love her so much that we feel like we could never even let her go.
When she tickles me, I act like I can't breathe so that she can stop.
I love my mom also because she's funny. She makes the funniest faces in the world. She crosses her eyes like both of her eyes.
Right now, what we're going to do is finish off by honoring our moms. The kids have got little presents for all the moms, so if we can open the doors at the back. If we can ask you, if you're a mom, please stand, and can we honor you guys and give you something just to tell you how much we love you. Did all the moms get something? Okay, can we thank our moms for how awesome they are? And moms, we love you because you're so caring. You teach us so many great things, and you have a million other qualities that we could never, ever fit into a sermon. But as a fine little thing, the video is just going to say a final goodbye message. Or a final.
I love you, Mom.
And I love my mom.
Happy Mother's Day.